Fortunately, like the whatchamacall's out. Nice. That's the way to start it off.
Add to my to-do list.
What's that?
Where the to-do list? Background.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I think overlay. Overlay. What it do, ladies and gentlemen? Got some people tuning in early, right before we start the podcast. Yeah, well, we're live on Facebook and YouTube and my personal Facebook and all that good shit. We'll start with the podcast soon. We're gonna cover a lot to do today. A lot of recordings today, so we gotta mow through this. But it's a sad day in the NFL. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about my amazing take from yesterday. That AJ walked in as the first goddamn thing he said as soon as he said it. That my take was wrong and it was all sorts of messed up. First, so shut up. All right. You don't have to. I don't even have to ask.
Yeah, we know who you are.
It's actually shut ip. So she a little typo there.
Hi, Ash. You at the gym yet?
You're at the gym, so get off your phone and go pump.
She's probably doing cardio, or honestly, she probably just got there.
So remember, everybody, if you're joining us on the stream and you want to get your name out there, if you do not let the StreamYard access, cardio time, StreamYard access, allow that access so you can see your name on the screen, and or if not, just say who you are in the actual comment, just so we can actually see it. AJ will be bringing them up periodically throughout the show, but we always jump on a little earlier to say hello and good morning and all that other stuff. And I'll talk about it on the podcast. I was just gonna say something. I was like, I'll save it. But
interesting that happened.
I mean, other than slow day in baseball, it's cut down day. We'll talk about that. Talk about how the world may end because of certain transactions by the said Jacksonville Jaguars. Embiid getting paid. And we'll talk about the Broncos. So if you know any Broncos fans out there, tell them to tune in right now or listen later. We'll talk about the Broncos. They finished last in the AFC West last year, so we'll start with them as we work our way up. We will have a schedule, AJ, right? You were working on the schedule as far as like to let everybody know what days are what. Cool.
We might as well just do it for the NFC.
Yeah, because people already know the AFC, but he's probably already fucking. All right. But yeah. All right. So I'm ready to rock whenever you are. Got 7 people up in the live stream right now. So appreciate you tuning in as we're about to go live for the podcast. I'm going to shut these comments off just because I know I'll lose my mind if I keep paying attention to them. So let's do this, bro. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Chop Sports Podcast here on a Tuesday, August the 17th, 2021. Your host, Sturch Gooch over there, AJ from the couch. It is a dark, dark day in the NFL. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about a lot of stuff today. It is NFL cutdown day, so a lot of guys are going to lose their jobs today. Most of the bottom feeders of the rosters, and that's a fortunate thing to call one guy that we're going to touch on at least. We'll talk about Joel Embiid getting paid. We'll see how that finagles the salary cap situation in Philadelphia, because boy, oh boy, he's signed through at least, I'm going to be 40 at that point when he's done with his contract. We'll talk about the Denver Broncos today in day 13 of our 32 days and 32 teams in 32 days covering the AFC West. We picked 3 division winners thus far. We'll start with the AFC West today. So first and foremost, I want to apologize for those who downloaded the podcast right away. This is a formal apology from last night. Not so much the people that were watching live, but the people that downloaded it immediately. I was sitting here doing my thing, edited it, threw it on there, got a text from Gooch, who was across the street at the deli, who probably somebody said something.
It was Ibby.
Yeah. Who said, that's cool. Jersey Boys podcast is great and all, but he doesn't want to listen to that.
I'm surprised they even realized the difference because it's all Cowboys and all Cowboys. So it's the same fucking podcast.
Same podcast.
Just
the Jersey
me.
Boys podcast audio was uploaded yesterday for about, I don't know, an hour until I fixed it over. Well, Spotify helped us out. That was quick on the turnaround. iTunes dragged their ass a little bit, but yeah, so that's how my day started. And so unfortunately, that's a Monday. Somebody had a case of the moon day, so that was me. I will say this, it is a massive recording day here at the studio today. We got us going right now. We got the goddamn Jets coming back to record and release tomorrow. They're changing the release date to tomorrow, so they're going to drop on Wednesday along with Elena Christina's second episode, my third episode of All About the Star for the Dallas Cowboys podcast. I will say, and I have to give kudos to our intern AJ over here who, listen, we got to give him burn. He hustles. He hustles a lot. And it's something to be said for this because he's straight out of college. Kid's got a degree, Miami University, right? The U. I'm going to bring you up on screen real quick. The U. So I'm proud of all the work you've done so far. He's
wearing a Penn State hat, though.
He is wearing a Penn State hat, which shout out Micah Parsons, my man.
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer.
Not a future Hall of Famer. He is just a Hall of Famer.
Give him the jacket at this point. But I will say this. Your Fantasy Guy podcast drops today. Okay, so it'll drop on the Chop Sports Network today. But shout out to your intro song. People, you're going to have to listen to this to actually really, really appreciate it. The editing skills and it's called The Fantasy Guy. Do the math in your head. See what you think that intro might sound like. But kudos to you, bro. You've been putting in the work.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So we're excited to launch that podcast into the universe today. We'll get to your update later on. I don't know if you even prepped that, to be honest with you. You did. Okay, cool. Because yesterday's update was a banger and nobody really liked it. Well, when I say nobody liked it, Chris didn't like it. Gooch, you didn't like the update because it was too long and nobody likes preseason football except me, right?
I also got feedback on that.
Oh, okay.
It was too long. And
it was too long.
Preseason
you know
football.
what? And this is shout out to me. I'm me listening to my own podcast at the end of the day. And I fast forwarded it through the update. Like I was like, I know. And I hit like fast forward 4 times and it was still on. So I was like, okay, this is long. This is definitely too long. And people may not care about the preseason football. So shout out to myself for thinking that was a good idea. So today we'll stick to the relevant baseball wild card race, pennant race. The Yankees win again. We don't have to touch too deep on that, but they played a really good game, shut the door down. Just when you don't want to take out Cole in a situation like that, and you did, but their bullpen finally showed up, and to our surprise, really, right? I mean,
I'm going to be critical. The Yankees just can't fucking get hits with men on base. Bases loaded,
no outs,
and then they get the first 2 runners on in the 8th, and then they fucking run into the fucking. I don't even know what they did. I turned away for a second, and then I come back, and there's
commercial.
No one on. I'm like, what the fuck is going on,
dude? Base running blunders are a part of the game, unfortunately, but the Yankees have got that down to a fucking science when it comes to not having the big hit and runners.
What even happened in that spot?
In the 8th inning,
when
there was
LeMahieu
2 men
got
on.
thrown out at third.
Why? No. Okay. Jay Devlin actually brought that up, posted it in Chop Sports. He tried to steal third. First and second, 1 out or no outs.
No outs.
He tries to steal third. Why? Like the aggressive approach with the DJ LeMahieu, if that was Brett Gardner or somebody that can actually have some wheels, I would say yes.
To see like a hit and run or something, maybe.
Apparently, what Michael Kay said on the broadcast is that he finally got the timing down of the guys, stretched and delivery.
He thought he had the
timing down, gets drilled at third, and now it's there was a man on second there already with 1 out. It was just complete garbage on their behalf. I'm not a fan of them doing it like that. I listen, I am all for aggression. Like, be aggressive on the base
with the right guy.
With the right guy, exactly. DJ LeMahieu, not the right guy. If he's up at bat, put on the hit and run. That guy's going to make contact. He's good for situational baseball. He's not good for just to steal third. It was just a bad. And he was out by a mile.
Nonetheless, they didn't lose the game.
They did not lose the game.
Because I know Tampa won.
Huh?
Tampa won, right? Yeah.
Tampa won. So now they enter the doubleheader today with the Boston Red Sox with the ability to jump the Red Sox in the standings if they take both games.
What are they, 1.5 out?
They're 1 out.
Boston.
1 behind Boston. So there you go. So right away, all the crap that people have been spewing about the New York Yankees and how the season's kind of lost, including myself. I said, you know what? This team just doesn't have the fight. We don't know if they're going to win the division. And again, I don't want to beat a dead horse. This ain't a Yankee podcast, but I will say you can't knock the hustle. Can't knock the hustle. Speaking of the hustle, speaking of, dedication and passion and for the love of the sport. Today, I unfortunately have the unfortunate, it's not even an honor. It's just it's the due diligence and the duty to announce that just about an hour and a half ago, Tim Tebow was released by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I know, just sign of the cross. Thank you very much. I know we have AJ just looks very upset over there. He's broken up about it. Look, he can barely handle himself right now. It's just not a good, he's upset. And you know what? And rightfully so. Because yesterday on this very podcast, I came out and said, so you could probably submit that to Freezing Cold Takes on ESPN, saying that Tim Tebow was going to make this roster. Tim Tebow was he was a locker room guy. He's a positive dude. He's going to make this roster. Friends with Urban Meyer, has that connect. He's going to make the roster. Lo and behold, this is the result. Now, do you credit this to Urban Meyer, who is now saying, you're my boy, but we got to put the best people on the field? Or do you credit this as that he just didn't play well enough?
Both.
But in the first cut is what I'm saying. This is the first. You have 85 guys on the roster, got to get down to 80, and he's not even one of those 80. Both.
Yeah, like he didn't play well enough. That's simply it. They're not going to cut a guy that they're selling jerseys off the shelf if he's fucking even remotely decent. He clearly wasn't.
But all those jerseys.
And I wanted yesterday. I was with you. I'm
God.
with you. I'm thinking Tebow's going to make the team just because the Jaguars don't really have much to offer going into this year. Obviously, you don't want to think that going into the season, especially with a first-year head coach, a new quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think Tebow just wasn't up to snub, and that's what it is.
It's a very hard thing
NFL,
but it's a very hard thing to do what Tebow did. Like, he was given the chance by a friend.
What he tried to do. Because he didn't do shit.
Right. He didn't do anything. His blocks were bad. Like, Kyle Kerms posted 2 bad blocks.
On the very next play, that one was more telling. Because he got shedded real quick. I don't even know if that's the right word.
Shedded. Yes. Yeah. He got shed. Whatever.
He was shed.
He was shed quickly.
And he didn't even get a fucking hand on the guy. He put his hand out. No. It looked like a T-Rex arm, and he just got shrugged to the side.
It was a bad look. But I will say this about Tim Tebow. Shout out to Tebow for continuing to pursue what he wanted to do. When he's in baseball and he stinks at baseball, he's still at it. He's just not quitting. You know what I mean? So the reason why I have a problem, not with the cut, because I firmly believe that the Jaguars might have done the right thing in cutting a guy that just wasn't going to contribute on the team unless special teams help, right? He wasn't going to contribute. He's a locker room guy. He's a good dude. But I will not get behind the people that are laughing about this and the people that are like, I told you so. And there's no room for that, because I feel like Tim Tebow is a guy that has done it the right way his entire career, starting in college, right? When everybody loved to see this guy's passion. He's yelling, he's screaming, he's behind everybody.
I think he's a fucking dork.
You might think he's a dork, but I think he's a phenomenal athlete and a phenomenal locker room guy. And you know what? Have you ever read about him getting pulled over with guns in his trunk? I have nothing
personal against Tim Tebow.
No, but I'm just saying.
Personally, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
The Tim Tebow, they do a bunch of
no
great
guns
things,
in his trunk.
But that's not even fair to say either, though, because 99.9% of the NFL doesn't have guns in their trunk.
No. You didn't let me. I'm not done. Right. Guns in the trunk is one instance. He's also not going public with his thoughts about COVID, like a Cole Beasley, and pissing everybody off and rubbing everybody the wrong way. He doesn't say anything. He's just a dude trying to make a team, trying to live a dream. And you know what? If you're out there saying, geez, this guy never. Oh, we got one camera out. Go edit me back in, but that's okay. The voice is still there, I believe. I'm not sure. Yeah, it is.
It is.
Yeah, but anyway, so I'm thinking to myself, like, why would you, be celebrating the loss of somebody's job? And I'm not saying he was the best at it. He wasn't even good at it. But the fact that he hustles and he continues to grind and he continues to move in the right direction in life, it should give you a little motivation and inspiration. When we started Chop Sports, do you think anybody was out there saying, like, I can't wait till they fail? I can't wait till they're just not any good at what they do anymore, or whatever the case may be. Nobody's. Yeah, I'm seeing it. Nobody's rooting for anybody to fail. And I think the people that are saying, like, ha ha ha, like Tim Tebow got cut.
I'm rooting.
Would you say ha 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 to anybody else getting their job taken away?
Yes.
You would.
You like Justin Fields. I hope he fails. There's plenty of guys around the league that I hope fail.
And you hope he fails because you don't want him to be good because he's in your division. But the terms are he's good. And you know what? We didn't even talk about him yesterday, which was brought up to me by my boy Jay Silva. He goes, wow, you talked about all the rookies except the best one. And I'm not saying he's the best rookie out there. The
best one.
Debatable.
What are you talking about?
Debatable. But I'm just saying in general, you don't root. I'm not in the mindset of people bashing Tebow for losing his job after going out there and trying. We collectively go out there and try. Nobody is going to sit out there.
There are no moral victories in football, Dave.
There are not. You're correct. And
I'm just one of these guys that, look, he gave it a shot. I didn't care that he was getting an offer or getting an opportunity. That was like, okay, cool. He got the opportunity. I don't think at this point he was really keeping anyone from an NFL job.
Exactly.
And if they kept him around now, he might have been.
Right.
So I'm okay with it across the board.
Exactly.
They gave him a shot. He didn't fucking work out. They moved on. And Tim Tebow left graciously. I'm sure he has no problems with Urban Meyer. He
tweeted out something real nice. I wish we had it, but
he's not going to burn the bridge behind him. It is what it is. I'm sure he might have something to do with the Jacksonville Jaguars organization going forward because of his ties to that area, being from Florida.
Correct.
Going to college there.
Yeah.
But hey, it is what it is. Let's close the fucking book on Tim Tebow in the NFL because that's clearly a wrap.
That is clearly a wrap, unless the guy wants to go out and try to play quarterback again, which I don't think is going to happen.
Go get down with Anthony Pecorella and learn to punt.
There you go.
Just
kick it. Why not? What the hell? What? he might listen. Go punt. But no, for real. On the real, like that's exactly what I was thinking to myself too. This is a twofold thing. Like it's one to celebrate somebody's demise, right? Those people out there, there's miserable people out there. And that's what I consider you. You're a miserable human being if you root for somebody to fail. That's it. Point blank, period. Nothing. If you root for somebody to fail, you're a miserable person.
I guess I'm
in life. I'm not talking about I hope the Bears lose. Yes, I hope the Eagles never win a game. I hope the Giants stink.
People that I hope fail. I got to think though.
There's not to me. But I would, because you know what? I know. Do you know what it is? You don't believe in karma. So that's the whole thing. So by me, I kind of believe in that shit, like kind of willing things into existence.
So you think that if you hope someone fails, that someone that you're hoping for to do well will fail, and like that's completely it's all about Dave.
No,
right?
It ain't. No. I think that's not my mind space. That's not where I'm at mentally. I just want I want everybody to succeed. I do. If you're a real estate guy, I want you to sell a freaking house every day of the week.
I don't particularly, it's not going to affect me negatively or positively if somebody I know fails or succeeds. Maybe if they fail, it'll bother me a little bit if I know them. But if it's a fucking guy in the NFL that's on a team that I don't root for,
okay. But that I'm with it. I understand your theory.
I'm a piece of shit.
No. This doesn't make you a piece of shit. It just makes you think that way. Yeah. And just like I said, every time when I root for my friend's happiness with NFL teams, if my team is out, right, and let's just say the Packers are in the NFC Championship game. Last year, I was wholeheartedly rooting for the Packers. As bad as Rodgers has burned me and broke my heart, I was rooting for the Packers because I know your entire family, everybody, all the Lambarakis, all these guys would go nuts.
I don't root against teams because of people in my life. I root against teams that negatively affect me. Like if they beat the Packers one year, I'll probably hate them forever. Like we're talking about Denver. Yeah. You know how long I hated Denver? They handed me a Super Bowl loss when I was at that age.
This one's for John.
I just couldn't handle the Packers losing, let alone in a Super Bowl at that time in my life. I'm talking like bad anger when the Packers lost.
You were that angry that young?
I mean, over football games, absolutely. Like when it comes to
that
the
young,
Packers,
I'm saying.
Yeah, when the Packers lost, I wasn't that young either. I was definitely 15 or 16.
It was 96, 97.
Yeah, I might even have been older.
97, I was 13.
I was 15.
13? I don't even know. I'm not doing. All right.
So I was 15 and pissed.
Okay.
Really pissed off. Fuck Terrell Davis. Definitely double fuck John Elway.
Oh, John Elway, I don't like personally.
He was a hack.
Personally, I don't like the guy. He promised an autograph.
Probably the most
my brother.
I think he's the most overrated quarterback in the top 10 all time.
Overrated?
Yeah, John Elway. He was a fucking scrub for a long time. Not a scrub, but just look. Do a deep dive into the John
drafted
Elway
by
numbers.
the New York Yankees, mind you, and then quit the NFL when he was drafted by the Colts. Is that what happened? And then he went to the draft, and then didn't happen, and then I think he went to Denver. There's a whole bunch of crap with John Elway.
There was a bunch of things going on.
But anyway, yes, the book is closed on Tim Tebow. However, all of you people that were up in arms and going crazy about him taking a roster spot away from somebody else who possibly deserved it, shut up now. It's over. Now it's over. Now we don't ever have to mention Tim Tebow again on this podcast. Listen, this might be coverage on the mainstream media, sports media right now for the day. And people are going to be like, I thought he had a chance, or, whatever the case may be. They'll talk about it for a day. We'll forget about it. That's unfortunately happens when people die too. People pass away and you're like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. But guess what? You forget about him after a little while. So I'm not saying he's dead, but in the NFL, his career might be over.
Took a dark turn.
No. I'm just saying, what do you got over?
You're talking about celebrities, right? I mean, you could be talking about like people, like
no. I'm talking about like when people get upset about somebody that is on TV and they die. And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe he's dead.
I mean, absolutely.
You forget about it in like 2 days.
I'm trying to think of the worst TV death.
Robin Williams to me was hurt.
I'm talking about like fictional characters.
Oh.
Like Rita from Dexter. That was brutal.
I stopped watching Dexter. I know I'm an idiot because I know that show is like
it got shitty towards the end.
That's what people told me, and I kind of
when Rita bit the bullet.
Well, now that I know that Rita dies, I might as well not even watch it. And I don't even know who Rita is.
Oh. Did you watch it? You watched Dexter?
A little.
Did you see the Rita is dead episode?
No.
I'm trying to think of what other bad deaths
bad deaths on TV. Well, I mean, Joe Pesci in Goodfellas, like he just gets
he was
freaking whacked.
Anybody in the mafia movies, I'm expecting them all to die, and I'm in a way rooting for it because that's what makes the movies.
But that
good.
one though, that one was like he was supposed to be a made man, and
what
he goes
about,
in there. I'll never forget.
Poussey from Orange Is the New Black.
See, I don't watch that show either.
That was pretty.
That was
tragic.
a little shitty.
Was there any big deaths in I don't know, The Wire? A lot, I'm assuming, right? You were a Wire guy. My dad was a Wire guy. Who?
Everybody in the
Everybody.
Wire.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying that and you forgot about him.
I forgot. I honestly can't remember. Everyone died in The Wire too.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much.
What is
Omar?
I did hear about this.
Oh my
Omar's
God.
coming.
I think fucking Scoop just ruined the goddamn
Christopher
Sopranos for me. What the hell, Scoop?
If you haven't watched The Sopranos by now, nobody ruined it. You ruined it on your own.
Yeah. Wow. You just
ruined
also
it. Sopranos. Unpopular opinion: Sopranos is way overrated.
Oh my Lanta! I have no
seasons
dog
good.
in that race. I watched about 7 episodes, stopped, and I just haven't. I'm an Italian guy. That's probably like sacrilege not to watch The Sopranos. My dad watched it. Everybody I know watched it. I didn't watch it.
The first 2 seasons, all it was Tony trying to bang his therapist and fucking crying, and then it was like his son. Was his son AJ in that?
Yeah.
Yes.
His annoying son AJ and his daughters. Nobody cares about your kids'
I love
lives.
Metal Soprano.
Nobody cares about your children's lives. We care about Italians shooting other Italians on a mafia show. That's all we want to fucking see.
Just
Am I wrong? Am I wrong about
Italian
that?
on Italian crime.
Yeah, I
Like
think
Sopranos,
you
you want to see mafia shit. I don't want to see therapy.
My stepmom's like that. She's like, if people aren't dying quick enough in these shows, she's not interested.
Let's talk about deaths that didn't happen that should have happened on TV.
What?
Walking Dead, Carl.
Oh, see that's another show.
Bro, when he got shot in the eye, I was like, finally, Carl's dead. And then the next fucking episode,
He's a
they come
walker?
and he's wearing a patch. I'm like, really? They don't even have medicine, and he's fucking got a patch in his eye. Is like, come on.
Another
They
guy. I
should've
got through 2
been
seasons of Walking Dead. Stopped. Like I
Yeah,
can't
bro.
stick with.
They
things.
killed Shane.
I don't.
Shane was
I know.
is the fucking
Was
would have
the
been the
homeboy.
goat. He should have ran the whole shit. He would have been king of the fucking of the new Walker world,
Yeah.
right? He would have probably had pet walkers, and they have Rick with his doofy cowboy hat on. No offense, Dave. I know you're a cowgirl.
What does that have to do?
I
Have
don't
you
know.
ever seen me in a cowboy hat? Like besides
not
Dallas
yet.
cowboy
Not
hat?
yet. Wait, do you
What?
actually have a cowboy hat?
No.
Oh no, Dave. Do you
I've
have
been
boot-
to Texas, jerk
Do you
off.
have cowboy boots?
I do not have cowboy boots.
I would have gotten up and walked the fuck out, right now.
I do not own cowboy boots. So
Right.
that being that.
Oh my god, how
What?
does this keep happening?
What?
I
Oh
didn't even
man.
touch it. I have to get a new piece.
Yeah,
Clearly.
yeah, it's okay. Nobody wants to see me anyway. It's all good. It's fine. It's probably better off that way. It makes it maybe a better show if they don't see me.
no.
Double Chris, double whammy. But anyway, so I will. We have to touch on this because it is news. Joel Embiid gets paid big time money. He's now signed through 2026, 2027, which is crazy to think about because again, I can't even think about past 2021 at this point or 2020 last year when you're like, oh, what's going to happen next? Well, guess what happened next? Joel Embiid got paid. Now, how does this affect their entire cap situation? Is like all right, so you guys can explain this better to me because you guys are these NBA enthusiasts. These supermax things, right? When they get this supermax contract, how many of those can one team give out? Is it because they're all NBA players of some variation?
I believe one. I don't think you could have two super maxes on
Okay.
your team. That might be.
I don't know. AD and LeBron aren't super maxed out.
I
don't
feel
know.
like LeBron isn't on a max.
Maybe
LeBron's-
just keep your eye on the comments just in case somebody can answer that.
I'm pretty sure that Russ is definitely super max, right?
I would assume so, right? I mean,
Now, is there like a super max? You have to be all NBA,
that's the rule,
right?
yeah.
So, logistically speaking, there could only be a certain amount total in the league because there's only a certain amount of
all NBA players. Now, is it a one-time
yes,
all NBA
like
player?
you become eligible for the super max. If
So then
you've
there could
made
be
it all
more.
NBA. Yeah, there could be. Well, there could be more than 10, but over 4 years there could only be 40. If these
True.
guys are running it back.
Okay.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I have no idea the logistics of that, but I think you could have more than one.
Okay, because I think of a guy like why can't I think of his name now with Embiid?
So the Nets don't have two
Talk
super
about
max
Tobias
guys.
or
Like
Ben Simmons.
Simmons. So he's not a super max because he's never.
No, but he's expensive.
Yeah, but he's right. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like this big extension for Embiid, does that kind of limit what they can do as an organization unless they move Simmons? But who
Very
the hell's going
much
to take
so.
that
well,
money?
you would think that, but then you look around the league and you see guys like LeBron, AD, and Russ teaming up, and then you see KD, Kyrie, and Harden teaming up, and you got to imagine that these guys are all making around at least $40 million a year. I know the supermax is what if he signed to
he signed at
200
over 200 mil total value.
You know, so he's making almost $50 million a year.
That's insane.
That's insane
But
money.
the thing that you guys need to take into account with the 76ers is not only is Simmons getting paid like that, not only is Embiid now have the supermax, but Tobias Harris gets paid $40 million a year.
Well, he's good, but he's not $40 million a year good.
Yeah, but that extremely limits what they could do. They really only have those three guys.
So that's
Again,
three
they-
guys
that
and a
they
bunch of
have
role
to-
players, maybe with like
And
the
the
league
fact that they're
minimums.
asking for control of 4 first-round picks for Simmons, who can't even take 4 shots in a fucking playoff game.
That's
I
what
don't
was gonna
buy-
ask you. I don't know if anybody takes
That's
him at
really
this point.
hindering what
Yeah.
they could do by asking for way too much back for a guy that he is a great defender, but he was just absent down the stretch in the most
Those are the games.
important-
Those are the times that you
in
got
the
to show
biggest
up.
games of the season. He wasn't there.
They can't have more than two.
So they could have
okay,
two.
So they can have 2. So that begs the question. You're telling me that one of those big 3 of the Nets and one of those big 3 of the Lakers are not a supermax deal?
Uh-huh.
That's interesting to me. That's interesting.
I would imagine it's LeBron.
I would
not,
imagine it's
because
him and Anthony Davis. So now Russ Westbrook. You're telling me he's not
No.
supermax?
No, what I'm saying is I would imagine LeBron is the one that's not.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I guess
year
you don't really
18.
need it at this point.
I mean,
You know, he's
what-
been in the league 19 years.
Do I know? Of course.
I mean,
I
I
know.
saw
He's going-
that in Chop Sports today. I was like, what? I was like,
Yeah, he'll be playing against 2 of the kids this season that played on his son's AAU team. So
that is, oh my God. Like, you can hate on this guy all you want, but if you're playing at that level 19 years into the league, like,
and
I don't like the guy, but like,
clear,
dude, you
they're
can't
a
knock
clear
that.
favorite to win it all this year. I'm not saying they're gonna because a lot of things have to go right, and
Mhm.
it's interesting to see how the Russ situation plays out. But they're pretty loaded,
Yeah.
and I know that they're lacking the shooter, but they just got Melo, baby,
Stay mellow.
Hoodie Melo.
Stay
I
mellow.
love Melo. I love Melo. I really wish that year that Jeremy Lin went off. With
I
Melo,
wish we coulda
that
done
could have been the
something.
year. I really feel like there's so much momentum that year.
It could have been
Even
the
in
year
the
that
short-
they what?
Won
Got
the title.
eliminated.
No, won the title.
Down to the playoffs.
Yeah,
The
seriously,
fuck-
man.
the fuck are you
Relax.
talking about?
No, but what about
Amari
that shortened
Stoudemire
season?
didn't
Didn't we do
defend
really well
anybody.
the shortened season? It was like a
We did amazing
50
the
game
shortened
season.
season, and then I think we had gotten to the second round of the playoffs against the Indiana Pacers, and we lost.
If this,
Ugh,
if
the
this
Pacers have been a thorn in my
put it
side
this
my
way,
whole life.
if they shorten this season, the Knicks would have done really well too. But you see what happens in the playoffs, right?
We'll see what happens with the Knicks as the NBA season gets closer. But AJ, my guy, there was a little bit of baseball. And before we get into the baseball update, I will say we are not going to be talking about Trevor Bauer because that just keeps getting worse. I keep seeing more and more reports. Dude, we may never see this guy pitch again.
Well, I saw the opposite of bad reports.
But I saw him. He put out his own tweet,
Yeah.
right? Which is great. I think you always need to break your silence in situations like that.
not always,
Well,
because you
yeah,
have lawyers.
If your
that
lawyer
tell
tells you to, like you would think he ran that by his lawyer, right? Like, hey, can I just say this?
I think he said in the statement that he said that his legal team advised him not to.
Not to.
put
Of
out a
course. Then
statement.
what?
He
Oh,
said he
my
couldn't though. He
God.
couldn't take it anymore.
Trevor Bauer, man, you
Now,
got to get smart.
I don't want to.
I'm not saying.
I it's so hard to talk about these situations
I know.
because we don't know the facts, and you get caught with egg
Right,
in your face if
right.
you did do some crazy shit. And
It's like
beat her
somebody
ass.
saying that Tebow's going to make the Jaguars, egg on your face, all over. Anyway, but yes, like this is not a good situation to be in. And the reports that you keep coming out are just, they're not good. They're not good. All these girls are coming forward and look, we won't know anything until we know something, but stay off of Twitter, Mr. Bauer. Mr. Bauer. See, that was a show that was amazing. Did you watch that show?
What?
Were you a fan of 24 with Jack Bauer and Kiefer Sutherland? No? Were you? No?
I mean, no.
Oh
it
my
was before my
God.
time.
Oh my God. What a great show that was.
That sound,
Hello,
though.
Mr. Bauer.
That sound.
The
like
reason why that
dun,
show
dun,
was bad because
dun.
the dude needed to sleep at one point or another. in his
No,
life.
it's 24 hours. You can't stay up for 24
But
hours.
how
You
many-
do it every day. You
All
work
right, but
here.
look, 24. That was the basis of the show.
Yes, it was a 24
So
hour.
he was
it a
like
day.
in one day he was in like Dubai, Washington D.C., L.A., and he was stopping a terrorist attack
That's
in every
how
single situation.
GOAT Jack Bauer was. He could be in so many places at once.
I don't think I've liked it.
I put that show up against a lot of shows, especially like shows that you're like, why isn't this over yet?
Was it even on cable?
Much like
if
this-
it wasn't on
It's
cable.
Fox.
It's not cable, but
What do you mean it's not
that's
cable?
just on network television.
Oh.
Any network television show is
Oh, so like
shitty.
the 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11,
Yeah,
13, and like
yeah.
64. By the way,
Very
when I had
rare.
like the dial up, that
I'm
was
talking about network television, Seinfeld, Everybody Hates Chris, Martin. These are the only shows that I've ever given.
That was such a good
fucking
show.
good, great show.
God, that was
Everybody
such a
Hates
good
Chris is a
Gina!
very underrated TV show too.
Chris Rock.
Yeah,
I love that.
Never
show.
saw that
Bro.
show. Never gave it a chance.
Grew up on
and
it.
I like Chris Rock, but I never gave that a chance. But anyway, yeah. So Trevor Bauer, stay off Twitter. Don't be an idiot. Listen to your lawyers. That's what you're paying the big bucks for. But AJ, what do we got when it comes to the MLB docket yesterday? Because I know there wasn't a lot of games, right? If I'm not
No,
mistaken, the Yankees obviously
not too
played,
many.
but hit it.
All right. Well, we got to start off with saying that hit up our boy Curtis Counts for all your realty needs. Curtis Sells Houses is the best guy on the market. If you need anything, make sure to hit up Curtis. Let's get into the slate from yesterday. The Giants are able to defeat the Mets 7-5. Chris Bryant, the Cub that the Mets should have traded for, homers twice and beats that team. The Angels and the Yankees have a close game, but Cole is sharp in his return from COVID-19. The Yanks top the Angels 2-1. The Atlanta Braves have a pounding against the Miami Marlins. They win that game 12-2.
Have a pounding.
I don't know
love it.
exactly what half a pounding means, but we'll figure it out at some point.
Did you read that or you made it up yourself?
Made it up
All
myself.
right, on the fly, baby.
Tampa Bay Rays destroy the Baltimore Orioles 9-2. Orioles are able to get the hits, but they're not able to get the runs. I'm getting a call from Houston, Texas right now, so let me go back into the stream. Don't know what that was about. The Cincinnati Reds are actually making some pretty decent progress on their wild card chase, and they won another game against the Cubs 14-5. The White Sox beat the A's 5-2. Nothing too notable in that game. Let's go to Houston, where they lost that game against the Kansas City Royals 6-7. The Royals have been
You
big.
did it. You son of a. You
7-6.
Thank you.
They've been big spoilers as of late. And then we have our final two games. The Colorado Rockies are deadly at home, and what do? They win again. They were able to win the game 6-5, and CJ Cron had a homer with 1 out in the ninth for them to win it. The LA Dodgers have a low-scoring affair, surprisingly, against the Pittsburgh Pirates and their staff. They're able to win that game 2-1, and that is your AJ Sports update.
My man. So yeah, other than the whole 6-7 thing, that was pretty good. Flawless, short, to the point, got all the scores out. Chris, you have any thoughts?
No.
Good.
There's
See,
no
that's
more-
a good
no
thing. We're
6-6,
making
but we're good.
progress.
We're good. Yeah.
We're making
Much,
progress. My guy over here.
much better.
Yes.
much
then
better.
What you didn't? Whatever. You don't want to hear about the NFL preseason?
No, I
That's
don't
on
want
you.
to. It's not even that. Look, we talked about the NFL preseason at length in the open,
We did.
and then he talked about it at length in his fucking update.
That's a lot of length.
So it was like, we're getting an update on what we literally just heard.
Uh-huh.
That was my problem.
Very, very good point. Now, had we had like a production meeting right before, we probably would have actually
Yeah.
said, you know what, this isn't necessary.
I think yesterday
But-
we got to work and nobody said a word until we started recording. It was just
It was very
It was a
somber.
very-
I don't know what it was about. Maybe it's a Monday thing. I don't know. Maybe we're just, well, you kicked your own ass on the weekend. I did the same thing. We just
Yeah.
tired. We're
and
just
then
tired.
you came in. What was your deal when you came in? You
Like,
were
do
like, oh,
something-
I couldn't. No. You just said like I couldn't get going at the gym. I
Oh
went to the
yeah, no,
gym.
I don't know what it was. I think it's my sleep. Somebody recommend. I don't know, man. I need to sleep better. This is like my back is so shattered, and I can only attribute this to just wear and tear and just not just lifting. I'm
And
talking
you're
about
sitting in
football
that
and wrestling
fucking
and
seat
all day.
all day.
So I'm gonna
All
start
day.
doing
You gotta
push-ups
start
and pull
getting
the
it
Ari
together.
Gold. I'm going to pull the Ari Gold and do not disturb for like 15 minutes a day when I'm here. Do some calisthenics, stretch, maybe get cupped by our.
I spent $160 on tennis rackets like the beginning of the summer, and they're still brand new with 6 tennis balls sitting there. No, I'm not going to sell them. That would be a complete failure. A complete failure. I need to play tennis because I know that I know a big strapping guy like myself going out and playing tennis.
It's manly. It's manly.
Tennis, you will get the best workout of your life, and it's a sport that I could literally beat the shit out of Ashley in.
I was gonna say, oh, this guy
literally, and she talks shit where like she thinks she's gonna actually beat me, and she's not. I'm not gonna take it easy on her, at least until I get to see where she's at with it. But
she might be the next.
But here's
Sharapova.
the thing. I think what's gonna happen if I play Ashley in tennis, that I'm gonna beat her real bad early, and then I'm gonna fade fast, and then she's just gonna keep that consistent.
She's got the drive.
And she's got cardio for days. She's like literally watching the show on the treadmill now. I'm sitting here suffering,
sweating while you're talking.
Yeah. So,
but anyway, we will touch on the Broncos. Oh, you know what I did yesterday? Big flex.
Oh, Scoop.
What do you say?
You could beat me in tennis.
Oh, here we go. Scoop, you really want to do this all over again? Like, we will find the nearest tennis court and record that.
Let's get that picture that you took of Scoop in pain.
That's the best picture ever.
And that's the new logo.
Put him
for
on
the
a
podcast.
Yes. I love that idea. That's a great idea. Big boy flex. I know you privileged people over here probably already live with it, but I myself have ordered service to get central air conditioning installed in my home.
Very nice.
Bravo, Dave, bro. This is my biggest purchase since the home. And I'm like, it's gotta, I mean, I'm not gonna I don't have the money to just give it all away. Like,
yeah, I bought tennis rackets.
that's where we are in
2
life.
months ago.
That's where we are in life. So yeah, I actually got to call my dad about that because he's got all the answers about everything. But anyway, the Denver Broncos. We're in the AFC West now, where there is a lot of competition out there. There's a lot of youth out there. They finished last year. We're gonna find out if we think they can maybe take the next step with the team they got. I think they could possibly be potentially better than they were last year. But it starts up. What's up?
So we're going to go to break. And when we come back, right?
What?
Is that what we're going to do? Didn't we skip a break yesterday by accident?
I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. So when we come back, you're going to throw the merch commercial in here. And when we come back, we're going to talk all about the Broncos. Thank you, Chris. Good call.
Right.
Let's go.
Chopsports.shop is the way to order all of our NIL Chop Athletes merchandise, along with brand new hoodies. It is now officially hoodie season. Get involved with that. Also get involved with the brand new Chop Sports t-shirt. I think I want to buy one today, as a matter of fact, because I think it's dope. And I think I might want to go back down to XL.
Chop Suey tee.
Oh,
what
is that a thing? Is that real,
on, bro?
I can't.
It says samurai on it, and the other one says swordplay.
Right.
And he's not even Japanese; he's Korean, so that's racist in itself. All right.
Right. He was offended. Right. Anyway, welcome back to everybody joining us on the live stream.
Presence at this point.
Me too. I'm over it. But anyway, we're talking about the 2021 Denver Broncos today, in which it starts at the top. It's a heavily debated topic as to which quarterback is going to be the guy in 2021. They make this trade. Now, remember this. They made this acquisition with Teddy Bridgewater, right? And then there were still rumors that they could potentially take a Justin Fields or something like that, where there was going to be 3 guys in camp. They don't go that route. They go Patrick Surtain on the defense. But now Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater, and unfortunately not Brett Rippon, son of Mark Rypien, or maybe nephew. Either way, he's not going to be the starter. Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater. If you had you're the coach of the team, right? You are the Denver Broncos head coach.
Who is that, by the way?
Vic
Fangio?
Yes.
Yeah. You are the coach of the Denver Broncos, Gooch. Who's coach putting in week 1 when it comes to Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater?
I'm going to go with Drew Lock based on the throw that he made the other day.
Just
alone.
one throw.
No, and
But that's preseason. It doesn't
Teddy
matter.
Bridgewater, he's had plenty of opportunities in the league, and I haven't seen much from him as far as being able to lead a team to a successful season. He's had his, I guess, moments in Minnesota, bad injury, and then he goes to Carolina, and they try to push the ball a little bit last year, and he really turned it over a lot. I'm not really sold on Teddy Bridgewater as a starter.
Was he a Saint too?
He was a Saint. He was a backup.
But he never really played for them. Yeah. I'm not sold on Teddy Bridgewater as a starter. I think he's a good stopgap guy if your quarterback gets injured. Now, the problem is I'm not sold on Drew Lock as a starter either, but I do think that there's a lot more room for improvement with Drew Lock. And I think that he's kind of came into the league with a lot of these young receivers, and they have a little bit of a bond.
Nice little rapport, yeah.
That's why I'm going with Drew Lock to start the season. And if it doesn't work out, then you have the guy in Teddy Bridgewater that I think could manage the offense a little bit better. But me personally, I think Drew Lock has a shred of a Brett Favre attitude in him.
I do like that.
The problem is I don't think he's
not the slinger.
He's
like
not Brett
Favre
Favre.
was,
He's got a cannon, but
no, like Brett Favre to me was more of an improviser. I don't know if Lock has that.
I think we'll see about Lock. It's in the NFL. I think nowadays more so than anything is that they give these young kids, they get the jobs almost right away because the fan bases are clamoring for it.
All right.
And maybe Drew Lock wasn't ready. And you see this a lot throughout the league in history where guys kind of come into their own later in their career. Kurt Warner, you even had like a Rich Gannon. He was a journeyman for a long time. Just it's very early in a quarterback's young career to write him off. Look at Ryan Tannehill. There's a few examples out there.
That's a great example.
Now, Drew Lock, like I said before, I'm not sold on him either, but I think that there's more potential out of Drew Lock, and the receivers, which we'll get to in a second. The receivers are pretty loaded, I think.
Yeah.
1 through 4.
So I'm in agreement with you. In fact, AJ, later on today, I want you to put up a poll on our Instagram, Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater. Unlike your tragic, ridiculous poll yesterday or the other day with Dak Prescott or Lamar Jackson.
It was such a landslide that I guess it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was ridiculous because the masses have spoken. They all want Lamar Jackson as their starting quarterback. You're all morons. I'm looking right at you. For everybody who voted for Lamar Jackson, you're all stupid. But anyway, so in their running back, their backfield, this has been a running back by committee team since the beginning of time, maybe since Terrell Davis. After that, it was just like legitimately, it was Shanahan who had all the running backs, and then the guys who took over for that, John Fox, all these people had running backs by committee. I see no difference this year. Melvin Gordon is good, but he's never that guy that can just take the load and just take the 25 plus carries a game. They got Javonte Williams, they got Mike Boone, and they got Royce the 5'9" Freeman. Okay, so they do have a lot of backfield, but do you feel like even with 4 guys that are capable of running the rock? Now, I'm assuming Javonte Williams is a rookie, right?
Yeah, they traded up for him.
Yes.
I think he's their best back. I think he has the chance to be the best back in the class.
I think so as well. I think he'll be the starter.
Okay.
By week 6.
And I wouldn't say I don't think he's a better player than Najee Harris. I just think that in the situation,
Where's he out of? Harris? No, nobody.
What are we talking about right now? I just had a brain fart.
Javonte Williams. I'm sorry.
He's out of UNC. And
Okay.
He doesn't have a lot of wear and tear on his tires.
That's right.
Michael
I always
Carter
get confused
and
by that.
Carter went to the Jets.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Mr. Carter. Okay. So they do have a loaded backfield in numbers. And you think that maybe in time, Javonte Williams could be the bell cow.
Yeah, like I'm saying that they're going to always be, especially because he's a rookie. They're
Right.
and they have Melvin Gordon signed to a contract. I think that they maybe in the early going run Melvin Gordon into the ground, and then towards week 8 you see a little changing of the guard. If there's an injury or two here or there, then this guy gets the full blown gig.
Gordon's contract also expires at the end of this year.
Yeah, well, that's neither here nor there. He's playing for his money too. So Gordon might have a better season than we think, but I just think that his best days are behind him. He doesn't really have that burst anymore, and this guy's hungry and he's young.
Okay.
Doesn't have the mileage yet. It's him.
They don't have a listed fullback. Yes, they do. Andrew Beck, my fault. But they're wide receivers. Now, this is where they get deeper. Clearly last year, the loss of Cortland Sutton was felt. Cortland Sutton's a really good receiver. I think he's really, really talented. And this year, with a Jerry Jeudy next to him and a KJ Hamler next to him, and even Tim Patrick, I had him on my fantasy team. I had him on a couple fantasy teams.
He had a couple nice games
He did.
last year.
He did.
Stopgap
Yeah, so I mean, they're pretty loaded at receiver, and again, the return of Cortland Sutton just makes everybody better because the coverages are now different. You have to really, really try to take him over the top. Jerry Jeudy, one of the faster receivers in football.
He's such a good route runner early in his career.
Right.
It's going to be interesting to see how he develops this year too, with a guy that is kind of taking away some of the coverage and Noah Fant coming into his own a little bit more. I think that their passing attack, if they had Aaron Rodgers like everybody expected, Denver would be having a way different conversation about where Denver's going to end up this year.
Yeah.
Thank God that didn't happen. But
yeah, so unfortunate. So unfortunate. I wanted him out of the goddamn NFC so bad, but I would secretly root for you to not jump off a bridge. But anyway, see how we go back to that me rooting for my friend's happiness thing?
It's very nice of you, Dave.
I know, I tried.
He said he was hoping that he would leave, but then as a result, just hope that I wouldn't jump off a bridge. And then he's saying rooting for my happiness. Me contemplating jumping off a bridge is there by proxy. I'm just miserable.
It's a definition of sadness.
Yeah, that's a definition of sadness.
Good call, AJ. Tight end. I do like Noah Fant. He's probably one of the top. I want to put him in the top 10 tight ends in football. Yes. Right.
We're just talking about fantasy tight ends because there's tight ends that might be better than him doing other things blocking wise, but as far as a pass catcher, yes, Noah Fant, I would maybe even crack the top 5 after 4. Then you can make a case for him for sure.
Okay.
Right? Or go ahead,
fantasy I think guy. It's Travis Kelce, Kittle, who's the third? Waller. Then there's Mark Andrews, and then you're saying instead of Hawkinson, it could be him. Okay.
Yeah, wait, Hawkinson.
Hawkinson will be a top tight end this year.
He
misses like 6 games a year.
Half a man, half a season.
Even with that, he's the only one getting targets there. It's bad in Detroit, and you guys know that.
Yes, we do know that. He is the only shining star out of it.
You're giving him. You looked at me sideways as if what I said was crazy, right? And I'm not saying Noah Fant is going to be the 5th best. I'm saying that he's going to be in the conversation, or you could make the case going into this year that after those 4 guys are gone, you could be like, okay, I think he's going to take the next.
Oh, somebody on Facebook. I didn't mean to look at the things, but Zach Ertz. Are we still talking about Zach Ertz?
No. He's not even better than
I like Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, actually. Goddard's better than him. Where is Zach Ertz now? Is he in Philly?
He's back in Philly after all the trade talks and all this other crap. He wound up staying in Philly.
So maybe Zach Ertz is a top 5 tight end in the league, but he's not a top 5 pass catching tight end. And that's where we're going with this conversation. And honestly, I don't think Zach Ertz is there either.
I don't think so anymore.
I'll take Tanyan over Zach Ertz.
I love Tanyan. Tanyan.
Now I'm not trying to go there. Tanyan, I hope he kind of falls to the 11th because I want to get him late in fantasy drafts.
And don't discredit the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Anyway, Blake Jarwin, Dalton Schultz, my 2 guys. But anyway, Noah Fant, top
They're
10
coming in at the 16th and 18th ranked tight ends in the NFL this year.
Oh, you're looking right at it?
No.
Oh, you just know this?
That's just my guess.
All right. So anyway, the offensive line, younger, not notable names. They don't really jump off the chart at you. You're talking from left to right. Bowles, Risner, Crucianberry III, Glasgow, and Anderson. So this could be the Achilles heel of the offense. I'm not gonna say they're bad,
or it could be really good, and I just don't know because I'm
I don't want to say
Denver
something.
Broncos,
I think
AFC West offensive line.
Yes, well, I don't want to write off the Broncos because their offensive line is young and not like they don't have like a sex appeal to them, or they're just like, oh, I know those guys. You know what I mean? Like
Dave's talking about offensive line and sex appeal.
Yeah, well,
who has the sexiest offensive line, Dave?
Probably the Colts. I want to say the Colts.
I'm proud of you for not saying the Cowboys.
Are you kidding? No, you know what? That's an argument that has been beaten over. Like Dan Orlovsky always is like, the Cowboys, how can they not get it done with one of the best offensive lines in football? I said, Dan, and I said this to him, and he replied. I was like, Dan, they haven't had a good offensive line, a good solid offensive line with no injuries since like 2014. Shut up with the whole Dallas Cowboys offensive line is the best in the league. They're not. They have one of the best guards in the league. Yeah. They have one of the bigger left tackles in the league. They have one of the bigger right tackles in the league. Doesn't mean they're good. You know what I mean? Like they're serviceable. Hopefully they stay upright. I'm not going to get into this. I'll talk about that tonight on All About the Star, episode 3. But I will say that, again, I'm not going to write off the Broncos offensive line and not being any good. And yeah, dude, just so you know, just so you're aware, I'm a realist with the Cowboys. As much as you think I blow them all, I don't. Like, I know who's bad and I know who's good. Like, i.e. Jalen Smith, not good at football anymore. Okay. I don't think he ever was when he went into the pros. One of the all-world linebackers in Notre Dame and college football history. that injury messed him up forever. He's not going to be the fast side-to-side guy. He's just not. And he's not good at football anymore. I'll tell you how it is. And the corners stunk last year. Absolutely stunk. Like, I love how Gucci tunes out because, Dave's on a Dallas Cowboy rant. Let's all just tune out here.
Well, I'm also
back to the Broncos.
I'm also pulling up some of the stuff on the defense.
Oh, okay. But back to the Broncos. Defense. They do a base 3-4. Look, there's no denying guys like Bradley Chubb and Von Miller on this defense as the leaders of this team. Their defensive end, very young right now, but they only rush 3, and it's always Von Miller off the edge when he decides. He's one of those guys. He's one of the rare breeds, I feel, that can put their hand in the dirt and then they can stand up and they could play equally as effective in both ways. Von Miller is still, to me, an absolute stud.
Yeah, of course. And their coach, Fangio,
defensive guy.
Done. He's like a wizard with what he does with his
what he did with the Bears,
moving parts. Fuck the Bears.
I know,
but Vic Fangio I know he was a really good defensive coordinator. We'll see how that translates because a lot of times you see these head coaches, they're good coordinators and they come and now they're a head coach and because they're a defensive coach, they're not really as hands-on as they were. We'll see how it works out in Denver. Fangio is definitely a wizard on the defensive side of the ball.
Cornerbacks, Kyle Fuller, Ronald Darby, the third corner, Patrick Surtain Jr., who had a pick 6 in his season debut.
Fuller's from Chicago, so he's got his guy. He knows the system well.
And let's not discredit Justin Simmons as one of the better free safeties in football right now. So that defense as a whole is pretty damn good. And
they have a chance to be the top unit in the league. Let alone in their division. The Denver defense is going to be really good this year.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to surprise a lot of people.
Okay. I firmly believe it. And, of course, Brandon
but
Vince McManus is their kicker still, and he can kick the ball out of the stadium. So now when you're pulling up their schedule, AJ, pull that up for the viewing people out there. The schedule is, I always say this phrase, the schedule is the schedule. But the preseason, they won 33-6 in their opener. Locke did have a $151 in that game. Now, opening week, that's a win for the Denver Broncos as they play the New York Giants. I'm not saying that. I know the Giants are definitely better than they were. But in their first, listen to the schedule for the first 3 weeks for the Denver Broncos. The Giants, the Jags, and the Jets. So they're all the J. Okay, they got those 3 games. And then, a little bit more, it gets difficult with Baltimore and Pittsburgh. But to start off, can you, only because I'm asking you, hypothetical, it's still early. Can they go 3-0?
Yeah,
they can start 3-0.
Definitely start 3-0. I think the Giants are going to be a tough out in all games they're playing
that's
this year.
It's in New York. So again,
I think the Giants defense matches up well with with Denver's offense. Their secondary is really good. That's their strength in Denver is their receiving core.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to probably be canceling itself out. It's going to be coming down to turnovers in that one.
Yeah. All right. And then AJ, while we're doing this, pull up the over under on the win total unless you got it already.
I think I found it earlier. It's pretty shocking.
All right. Well, remember they won 5 games last year.
It is their Denver Broncos is 8.5, and for it to be over is -150.
Okay.
So they're expecting big things from Denver.
They're expecting 3 more wins. They're expecting 3, or if you're betting the over, you're expecting 4 more wins.
But the point that I'm saying is 8.5 -150. It's like, so if you're going to take the over, they're expecting the over to hit in Vegas.
All right. Well, looking down their schedule again, Baltimore comes up, Pittsburgh comes up. The winnable games, I could see, I could see them going 3-0. And I'm not trying to be like a Giants hater. I just think they can get that game in hand. It's realistic. Giants aren't going to go 0-17. They're going to win games, but I just don't think they win the opener. They got Dallas on the schedule, and I think that, that's at Dallas, so I'll give Dallas the home win, but that's only the only reason why I would give them the win.
Easier schedules that I've looked at since we started doing this.
Really?
Well, I'm seeing Cincinnati. I'm seeing, Detroit. There are winnable games, so maybe that's why that number is 8.5, because they can find 8 or 9 wins.
They drew Detroit in their extra crossover game. That's what makes it so easy to me. Not that game, that one singular game matters, but it really does in terms of the strength of schedule. When you play, like Green Bay has to play against the Chiefs on the road, and this team gets to play against Detroit at home.
I can see right off the rip 5 wins and 3 of them being early. And then you got to find like 3 more. The wins are the 3 early ones, and then Detroit and Cincinnati. I think that's 5. Oh, no, I'm not. You can never say guarantee, but I can see that as 5. Now, find me 3 or 4 more wins in that schedule. You know what I mean? Like their AFC West opponents alone.
We're looking. That's what I'm saying. I think outside of the Chiefs, which even the Chiefs in Denver might be a
it's
better
always
game
it could be a problem.
Thinking about, but I think obviously we don't even have to talk too deep into it, but we all are going to admit or agree here. It's day one of the AFC West. That division winner is locked and loaded already. The Chiefs are winning that division. I'll say it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, no. I mean, look,
cliffhangers or whatever.
Nobody. Well, I will say it's going to be closer to me. It's going to be closer.
I don't know.
And when I say closer than last year was like 4 games, 5 games.
I think at a second, third, and fourth place in this division, they're going to be beating each other up.
Can a team like the Broncos
are very similar across the board?
Can a team like the Broncos split the division games, all of them, besides the Chiefs?
I mean, that's very feasible. Yeah, they could easily sweep either of the other two teams or get swept by them as well.
Okay,
I think there's a lot of up in the air with this division.
Yeah, it's going to be a competitive one. They have a decent schedule, but now the number is 8.5. I found them at 5. I'll give them a split with 2 division games. They'll probably get swept by Kansas City, or maybe not. Who knows? That's 7. I'm looking at the schedule. Maybe beat Philly. That's 8. Probably lose to Washington. I'm going to give them 8. I'm going to give them an 8-9 record from their 5-win season last year. Give them 3 more wins than they had last year. So I'm taking the under.
I'm going to go 9.
Okay, you're being generous. Well, at least not generous. Just you're taking the over. When we turn it over to AJ, what do you got him at?
8 and 9.
8 and 9. All right. So relatively, let's just say this. If there was an ability to go 500, this is the kind of team that's like really middle of the pack 500 team. You can't do it anymore with the 17th game. So you like them to finish above 500. Me and AJ are taking them a little under 500. So, I mean, look, it remains to be seen. These guys are definitely loaded better. They're more equipped with this year's roster than they were last year. Von Miller, he's always going to be a terrorizer in the backfield of that defensive, that unit, that front 7. But, it'll be interesting. It will be interesting. In that AFC West, I can firmly believe that that's going to be, like you said, after the Chiefs, it's anyone's game who's going to finish second in that division. Now, I don't know. I do see one wild card potentially coming out of that division. We'll get into them in a couple days. But as far as these guys, the 8 and 9 ain't going to do it. They'll find themselves in the top 15 of the draft next year, and they'll probably add another piece, maybe an offensive lineman for Drew Lock. Or if this Lock thing doesn't work out and Bridgewater, isn't the future, maybe they address that again, because there was rumors that they were going to do it this year, and they didn't. So maybe this is Lock's like, show me why we should invest in you going forward. So happy that, man. So that is day 1 of the AFC West, day 13 of our 32 teams in 32 days. Now, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, be sure. I know we haven't talked about this a lot, but and I haven't even talked to Gooch about this, or even you guys, or even AJ, of what we're going to do on Friday. I know I want to go. I want to go to this Bar A thing. I think
it might be shitty weather.
We're kind of monitoring the weather to see what it will be.
And honestly, I don't think that we talk to enough people to actually go through with our original plan when we're going to go fucking raise hell.
Right.
It's like a work day.
Yeah.
End of the summer. Everyone's like either done with it completely or they're gearing towards Labor Day weekend.
I've gone to this one once upon a time when it was at Tiki Bar, and it was a good time. You know what I mean? They had live music. They had, they were talking sports all day.
And I also saw something about tickets.
Really?
You got to buy tickets.
Oh, I didn't see that at all.
I think I might have just tapped out.
Okay. Well, if there's tickets, then
yeah,
I don't know.
We'll talk about this off air.
Yeah.
But,
that's fine.
I'm not completely gotta be there.
Yeah, very true.
I'd rather go to a Yankee game.
I agree. But anyway, so if you want to check us out, we might be
and if you want to go to the Yankee game instead, we might also be there on Friday instead.
That's not a bad idea either. But anyway, that'll do it for today's episode of the Chop Sports Podcast. You could be sure to download all the podcasts that dropped today. Jimmy Palumbo dropped today. Joe Matarese.
He put it in the Dropbox, he said.
Put it in a Dropbox, so it'll be up later today. Chopheads MMA now available. Go check that show out. I was talking to AJ a little bit briefly about the Chopheads MMA podcast on where that could go. I really, truly believe that Tommy D and Chris do a great job with it. Scoop helping out as well. I think that show can really take off eventually. And then obviously tomorrow, All About the Star, episode 3. So if you really do want to hear all things Cowboys, you can definitely listen to that. You can also listen to episode 3 of Keep It Real with Elena Christina. And of course, you can also check out the Squeaky Bum Time podcast drop today. They will have merch by the end of the day today. So if you're a supporter of the Squeaky Bum Time podcast, they will have t-shirts available on our store later on in the afternoon when we get that done.
They only cost 21 euros. Love.
So for Sturch and Gooch, and of course AJ from the couch, this has been another episode of the Almost said Jersey Boys, the Chop Sports Podcast, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Oh, now you want to give me a fucking soft close?
Cut him off
and I got
yesterday.
nothing. It's embarrassing for all parties involved.
All right. What do we got in the comments? Fifth year in a row going. It's fun. Yeah,
a lot of
he's
Scoop
talking
in the
about
comments.
ESPN. I'm telling you, Scoop, you're talking about ESPN. He's been there. And I was at the one that was in Bar A. What year was that?
Well,
I met Michael K, met Rosenberg, met them all.
Scoop, we're not doing the open bar thing this time, right?
Yeah, we're not doing the open bar, Scoop. So you can't bring your wife. Sorry. But anyway, Julie Ertz is a better tight end. Not lying. You're not lying. But Scoop, damn, all over this thing today. I wonder who said Ertz. I'm going to have to go check that out. But guys, thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Enjoy.